Hello everyone and welcome to Racing League Hub. Another Thursday night, another race for C4 in Season 10 now. And this week we have got the rescheduled round 2 in Austria. 3 DRS detection zones round the Red Bull Ring. 10 corners. But there can only be one winner. As we see the majority of the drivers straight out, not wasting any time in getting the first lap on the boards. Only the one driver on the medium tyres, and that is SVW, who is one of the first to go over the line, so will be one of the first to set a lap, permitting they do not invalidate a lap. We've got some yellow flags in Sector 3, unsure whether that's a spin or whether that's just drivers fighting it out for track position. We'll stick with SVW for the minute, as they'll be setting the first lap of the session. And looks like we've got some support in the chat for Apex Army, and just to say that, SVW breaching track limits. And we've also got a spin at turn 3, that is by Haas, making sure not to rejoin onto the circuit in front of faster car. And SVW has retired from the session. I'm not sure what happened there, but it looks like an incident on the final turn. And you can just see them at the bottom of the screen facing the wrong way. As you see, most of the drivers going across the line and setting their first lap. As the Destroyer setting the early pace of a 105.2. As we watch the annoyed gamer, who was the winner last week out and is also currently the leader of the championship. One driver who's already lasted a little bit longer this time out than last week is Apex Motoring Club. That's because they have not left the pit lane yet. It looks like we've also got a slow moving Alpine, but that's just again letting some drivers through that might be on hot laps behind them. As we see, very close between the two Aston Martins on their first runs. 105.3s for the pair of them. And Haas now setting the pace of 104.6. As we go on board with Philip Hogston, back-to-back third-place finishes, so back-to-back podiums for Philip Hogston, looking to improve on their standings in the general classification. Scoring some good points back-to-back there will definitely help that, and looking to make it a hat-trick of podiums today, Philip Hogston. Go on, Portno improving on their time, able to put them into 4th position. Philip Hogston also improved on their time, enough for a 105.2, which is enough for 2nd place at the moment. As we watch Goey go round turn 9 and decides to go into the pits on that lap there. It looks as though most drivers are heading into the pits after the first couple of laps that they've had out there on the circuit. They've had a bit of feel for the track, maybe a little reduction in the fuel load in the cars before setting a flying lap. And whilst most drivers are going in and out of the pit lane, it's a good time to mention that a lot of things happening in terms of the social aspect for Racing League Hub. A new TikTok has been created at Racing League Hub. Some fantastic racing footage, racing highlights and some funny moments as well, all being captured on TikTok, as well as a reformed Instagram of at Racing League Hub as well, keeping you up to date with all the news happening around Racing League Hub. And it looks as though it could be an incident there for Apex Motoring Club, going very slowly, and looks like they might be retiring the car on circuit, either that or being extra cautious to not hold up any drivers, and I think it might have been the latter. A lot of support for Apex Motoring Club as ever in the chat today. Hashtag Apex Army is here. Looks as though we have got some rain on the circuit, which is going to cost a lot of the drivers who have not set times yet. Annoyed Gamer, Apex Motoring Club, Goon, Double, SVW, who's already out of the session, all in trouble here. In fact, the majority of the drivers who have not set a lap yet are going to be in trouble. It is not suitable weather at the moment for those soft tyres to be setting fast laps. Apex Motoring Club praying for rain before the session started. Classify themselves as somewhat a king of the wet, as we have a lot of drivers coming off the circuit at turn 3, where a lot of the rain currently is. Be unsure whether any driver is able to improve on their time at the moment. Right, so the drivers heading straight into the pit lane. Be interesting to see. So we've got Huss out of the session. I think they've retired in the pit lane. It doesn't look like we've got any incidents on the circuit. Be interesting to see if any driver decides to take the opportunity. MB Gold nearly losing at the exit of turn 3. Manages to keep the wheels in the right direction. It'll be interesting to see if anyone decides to throw on a pair of the intermediate tyres and just get a feel for the conditions. I'm not sure yet whether it's a wet race or a dry race, but we will get that information. You can really see just how greasy that circuit is, how much MB Gold is having to fight around the track. Accelerating out of every corner, becoming that little bit more difficult. And they are going to commit to a lap. You see there the time difference between a dry circuit and a wet circuit. MB Gold going across the line on a 1 minute 13, 8 seconds slower than their current time. So it does look unless the rain does clear up, which in 7 minutes I'm not sure it will. It does look like we might already have our qualifying order, and Philip Hogston is sitting in a good position to get back-to-back podiums, starting on the front row of the grid. Going to be starting in second place, unless miracles happen in the wet here at the Red Bull Ring. So you can't rule out any penalties either. Anyone currently out on the circuit could have a spin, cause an incident and get a grid penalty. As MB Gold does finally decide to come into the pits instead of battling it out on the softer tyres. As we do see a couple of drivers on the intermediates. The intermediates obviously providing a lot more grip in the wet weather conditions. You see drivers being extra careful on the curves. You saw earlier watching MB Gold go around the circuit just how slippery and greasy the main parts of the track is, let alone the curves. The curves will be extra slippery when they are wet. The drivers will be taking extra care there. A complete contrast to the dry conditions, where drivers will be using as much curb as they possibly can, especially on the exits of turn 6 and also on the exit of turn 7. So this could be an interesting race if the standings stay as they are, with the championship leader, the Annoyed Gamer, not yet to set a lap, and the conditions are wet, so it's not going to be a flying lap. It probably will not be a 104.6, and it's also worth noting that the championship rival Goon is in 15th. It looks like we might have an incident again at turn 3. It's MB Gold on the inters doing some donuts for us. It looks like they might be getting in the way of the fast approaching Aston. Looks like they might just be clear, and the Aston's gone for a spin as well. Drivers finding it very difficult in the wet weather conditions. So I mentioned one driver very happy that it's raining is Apex Motoring Club. It's an adventurous line there. They have already breached track limits on this lap. I'm sure they're just trying to get used to the circuits. They know the times are not going to be the fastest at the moment in the wet. It looks like we've got the other Aston Martin having a spin on the exit of turn 1. A bit too much curb on the outside of the corner, or maybe cutting the inside of the corner a bit too much. We obviously didn't see the incident, but they have had a spin there, and it looks like we've also got the Annoyed Gamer facing the wrong direction at turn 3. These are not the conditions that we saw earlier on in the season with the original schedule of Austria. We had a dry qualifying and a dry race. The rescheduled race looks like it's going to be just as thrilling to watch. So you really can see their RPM Dragos really having to try and fight the car. Barely any grip out there on the circuit. Sort of sliding around some of these bends. So see MB Gold setting times of 1 minute 12s. which is quite a good lap for the intermediate tyres. As you see, most of the drivers now just getting a bit of practice for what could be a wet race. Well, I'd love to say I can call all the action here and say it's going to be a thrilling qualifying. It's thrilling in terms of what order we are going to be qualifying in, and it's also thrilling in terms of watching some of these drivers getting some practice in for driving in the wet conditions. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to see any changes to that grid order on the left hand side with 1 minute to go, as it is still very wet out there on the circuit. The drivers all on the intermediate tyres. The time set on the left hand side of the screen as the first 5 minutes of qualifying was in the dry conditions, which also explains the mad rush that we had out of the pits early on. Every single driver out on the track near enough. So as we mentioned, the leader of the standings is going to be starting near the back of the grid with their teammate SVW, who did not set a lap. Apex Motoring Club taking an adventurous line through the exit of turn 3. As we see, Huss, who is third in the standings, is going to be starting on pole. We'll be looking to close the gap on Goon and Annoyed Gamer. It's a prime opportunity for them to do so. So you can always look on racingleaguehub.com to see the full list of the standings. So make sure you select the right league that you want to be looking at on the right hand side, and there you'll have access to all of the different competitions, all of the different leagues, as well as the individual driver profiles, where you can see obviously everyone's highest qualifying positions, how many race wins they've got, and how many DNFs they have got. So it looks like there is an end to qualifying. So just to recap the order, it is Huss that is going to be starting in pole. Philip Hogston capping out the front row of the grid. The Destroyer and Goran Potner third and fourth. Fifth and sixth for third row lockouts for the Aston Martins. That's of Fucho and Jarno. Seventh place we have MB Gold. At eighth we have Skipper. Ninth is Nath. 10th G Infamous. 11th is Goey. 12th RPM Dragos. 13th Snell Henk. 14th Apex Motoring Club. 15th is Goon. 16th we have Double. And 17th we have got the championship leader, the Annoyed Gamer, and 18th is SVW. As we see some comments in the chat there, when does the new season start? Well, we are only about halfway through the current season, season 10. So we don't have a specific date at the moment in terms of when season 11 is going to start. But it's well worth signing up and putting your name forward, as you can find all details of signing up on the Instagram at Racing League Hub, as well as on TikTok, again at Racing League Hub. You should be also able to find out some further details as well online on the website, as we say, at racingleaguehub.com. I believe we have also got a new website on its way, which will be very exciting. So we're going to have a dry race, which I'm sure a lot of the drivers are going to be happy about. As we just wait for the session to fully load up. And the drivers are already on the grid for the formation lap. As we will just confirm what tyres everyone is starting on. So those top 10 all having to start on their qualifying set of tyres, which are already soft tyres. So, Goey, RPM, Dragos and Snell Henk all staying on, well, all going for the medium tyres, looking to do a bit of a longer stint and looking to use the soft tyres a bit later on. Apex Motoring Club and Goon looking to make early charges with fresh soft tyres. As we see Double N, Noid Gamer and SVW also on the medium tyres. Just confirmation there at the bottom for the predicted pit stop strategies. It's going to be a medium soft. It's definitely, it looks like it's going to be a 2-stop strategy. Unless we do have some safety cars, which might tempt some drivers to prolong. The Noid Gamer going for those medium tyres, looking to play a long game. The long game worked for them last week out, where they took home the race win in Britain. As we see the drivers just making their way round onto the grid. A few drivers quite far back. Annoyed Gamer and SVW last to make their way round, making sure they've got some heat in their tyres. It's a lot of time passing though for the drivers at the front, which means those tyres are starting to get colder already. As we just wait for confirmation of the grid that they've all lined up. Looks like we have got that. As we now just keep our eyes on the lights. 5 lights, and it's lights out. Away we go at the rescheduled Austrian Grand Prix. Looks like we've got an Alpine making a move, and we've already got contact between one of the Astons and an Alpine. We've also got what looks like Goran Potner maybe, or we've got one of the drivers, not Goran Potner, it's Goey by the looks of things, going off at turn 1. We have got a virtual safety car, so we'll be able to just pull up. There are some penalties that are coming up. Goey's got 10 seconds worth of penalties already. Double's also picked up 5 seconds of penalties. It was a thrilling start. It'd be a start that we'd love to see some replays of. As we just get confirmation of the start, it was a poor start for Philip Hogston, dropping down 7 places into 9th. But an even worse start for MB Gold and Future, who look to have made contact at the very start. MB Gold out of session. Future just going to see whether they have got any damage. It doesn't look like they are missing an end plate to that wing. Be interesting to see if Future decides to pit, which it looks like they are doing so. So confirmation of the order. We've also got a drive-through penalty there for Philip Hogston. And Future, it gets worse. It's a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. It looks as though the virtual safety car has cleared, so we are racing again. We just have yellow flags in sector 1, as Philip Hogston has had an incident there at turn 1. So Philip Hogston is out of the session. So it will not be a hat-trick of podiums for the Mercedes driver. So confirmation of the order as it stands is Huss in the lead, Destroyer in second, Jarno up to third with Goran Potner hot behind them, Skipper is up to fifth position, Goey is in sixth, G Infamous is in third, in seventh, in eighth we have got RPM Dragos, ninth Snell Henk, 10th is Goon at the moment, but this is all changing as we are racing again. No DRS at the moment, obviously we have got 3 DRS zones here in Austria. DRS has now been enabled. To ride on board with one of the drivers looking to make the most of it, which is Skipper in the Red Bull, hunting down the Haas of Goran Potner. Doesn't look like they're close enough to make a move there. It's a very good drive out of turn 3 for Goran Potner. And what we do end up seeing quite often here in Austria is we do end up getting a DRS train. Where we end up seeing numerous drivers all receiving DRS from one another. And no one being able to get an advantage on each other. So we see a proceeding train. One of those drivers looking to make the most of the DRS is the Destroyer. Had an okay drive out of turn 9, a bit slower in turn 10. Thinking about making a move on the inside, decides against it. Will they be close enough to make a move into turn 3? I don't think they are going to be. One driver really on the charge is Apex Motion Club, up 3 places, sitting in 11th at the moment with a fastest lap that they have just set of a 1 minute and 7 second time. Again, Destroyer just too far back from Huss, who's getting a fantastic drive out of a lot of these corners. And so we have got an incident in Sector 3. It looks like we have had a spinner entering the pits, which is Future. And they have really lit up the tyres. They are really struggling to keep it on the track. And they are going to be lapped soon if they aren't able to get themselves back in order, which they have. It doesn't look like they've got any damage to the Aston Martin, but they have got a few drivers hunting him down. As we have yellow flag Sector 1, and it is Future who has retired from the session after a spin there at turn 1. It's crucial to remember not to retire on the circuit, not to leave the session either. So we're going to have a car now driving around the track. Someone's not racing. So with the incidents, it has bunched up some drivers. And this is the DRS train that we are talking about. So from 4th to 6th, all in a DRS train of each other. So that's Goran Potner, Skipper and Goey. And one other driver on the charge is Goon with G Infamous, racing side by side. Goon up 8 places with that latest move for 7th position for the Red Bull driver. Someone to make the next move for on G Infamous is going to be Snell Henk, right on the back of the McLaren driver. We ride on board. A very compromised corner entry speed by Snell Henk, meaning that they have a bit more grip on exit, but it's a good drive out from G Infamous. Goon setting the fastest time of a 1 minute 7.2. G Infamous going for a little bit of a slide. Snell Henk didn't have the cleanest exit to turn 1 either. Here is the DRS train. G Infamous saved by having DRS from the back of Goon. It just means that they're just too far ahead of Snell Henk for Snell Henk to make overtake. So we ride on board with Goey now. As you can see, the DRS train ahead of them of Jarno, Goran Potner, Skipper and Goey. So that's the positions 3rd to 6th in a DRS train here. When in a DRS train, you're just waiting for one of the drivers to make a mistake, as we just saw earlier in the lap there. A little bit of a bad exit out of a corner does provide a perfect opportunity for someone to get traction, utilise DRS and get past you. doesn't look like we're going to see any movement. Goran Potner is getting closer to Jarno, but Jarno again a fantastic drive out of turn 1, but no DRS. Are they a sitting duck? Goran Potner not using the slipstream and not getting close enough. See Jarno utilising the full width of the track. It looks like there might be a move on up the inside for Goran Potner, late on the brakes. Jarno also late on the brakes. Jarno keeps it going around the outside, leaving plenty of room. They are going to have the inside line. And that is Jarno who has kept the position there, going into turn 6. And it looks like the train is going to continue around 7 and 8. And round onto the pit straight again go these 4 drivers. Pit straight is a hard straight to overtake on. We have got another spinner. Now we have got a virtual safety car, so it does give us the opportunity to see who it might be. We just couldn't make it out there in the shots, but it does look like it is a retirement for SVW. Didn't have the best of luck in qualifying, and hasn't had the best of luck in the race either. So Apex Motoring Club now into 10th position with the annoyed game of the championship leader in 11th. No driver other than Nath looking to go into the pits and utilise the virtual safety car for an early pit stop. So we see annoyed gamer sitting in a good position there on the medium tyres. 11th on the circuit, again playing the long game, just looking to keep up with the drivers ahead. We have got some drivers in the pits though, and Goon is one of them. Goon looking to go onto the hard tyres, so looking to make it just a one-stop race potentially. I might go back to the softs if there is a late safety car as well. We are obviously back to green flag conditions, and the Destroyer is now our race leader, as Haas did come into the pits, and Haas has returned to the track in 5th position. A very good pit stop for them, really utilising the safety car to their advantage. Has gone on to the medium tyres, so probably no doubt pit again. So we see both Goon and Annoyed Gamer both picking up places. Sitting 1st and 2nd in the Drivers' Championship, but not having a good qualifying at all. As we will just see, Gooey hunting down Skipper as they go around turn 1. It's a good drive out from Gooey. Double has picked up a 5-second time penalty for a severe collision with RPM Dragos, but we see Goo up the inside of turn 3. Cleanly does it. A very nice overtake for Gooey. Has got some penalties. He's got 10 seconds worth of penalties, as does Double. But Gooey now currently on track in 3rd position. And that one was a very clean overtake by them in turn 3. Skipper will be no doubt looking to stay within the DRS of Gooey. Oh, that gap does look like it is increasing, and Gooey is on the charge and is hunting down their teammates, Goran Potner. So the Haas drivers currently sitting 2nd and 3rd, and it looks like Gooey is going to be the faster of the 2 drivers, as Goran Potner looks to go into the pits, as they do. So Gooey will get the overtake without having to work hard for that one. And there will also be another position made for Haas, who pitted under the virtual safety car, setting a fastest lap of the circuit of 107.3, fastest lap of the race. Sees them up to 4th position at the moment. And the annoyed gamer playing that long game, so wasn't phased by the virtual safety cars. Probably saw that as an opportunity to look after the tyres a little bit more. Playing it even longer game. They're up 11 places. They are now in 6th position. We have got yellow flags. Sector 1, just interesting to see. We've got Goran Potner off the circuit. Apex Motoring Club has gone through. No damage to Apex Motoring Club. Unsure whether they were involved in the incident, but that is Apex Motoring Club up 6 positions from their race start and now sitting in 8th position. RBM Jaguars picking up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. That is track limits. The annoyed gamer continuing their charge. Next up the road is Snell Henk. Doesn't look like they are going to be close enough to make a move right now. But a good drive out of it, and they might have a little look on the inside of turn 3 and the left of turn 2. Thinks about a dive at the inside. It's going to be late if they do it. They do not. They think better of it, but it's a compromised line by Snell Henk. But it's a good enough line to get a good exit out of turn 3, but it's not going to be enough to prevent Annoyed Gamer sticking it up the inside of turn 4 and making the move look easy. Annoyed Gamer up to 5th position. Snell Henk dropping there to 6th. One driver on the charge that you might have just seen on the bottom left of the screen is G Infamous, making their way past Nath. Apex Motoring Club did go into the pits as well, which we didn't see. And we go on to a fresh set of the medium tyres as we just go over a third of the way through the race. The Destroyer pulling out 4 seconds now in the lead on those soft tyres. And, driver in 2nd place at the moment is Goey. They are on the medium tyres, so we'll be looking to keep the pace on the slower of the dry compound tyres. But they do unfortunately have 10 seconds worth of penalties, which will obviously be served during the rounds of pit stops. Apex Motoring Club picking up a 3-second time penalty, and we also saw a 3-second time penalty to the Annoyed Gamer. And it all seems to be happening behind them. They are keeping Snell Henk and Jarno behind as we have a little DRS train on board with Jarno. Jarno now the sole Aston Martin out there on the circuit. Gets a good drive out of the corner there, but Snell Henk opening the DRS just a little bit beforehand. And Snell Henk will be looking to... we've got yellow flags at Sector 2. It is one of the McLarens, but we'll go to that in a minute as we see Snell Henk giving a bit of a squeeze to the Annoyed Gamer. The Annoyed Gamer looking to make a switch to the inside. And they are going to have to reposition themselves, and they haven't positioned themselves well because Jarno has got through as well. So the Annoyed Gamer finding out all about the DRS train here in Austria. Once you get past them drivers, unless you're able to put the hammer down, they're going to come right back at you with DRS. 3 DRS zones. Very fast circuit here at the Red Bull Ring. Very unforgiving circuit as well. As we're going to see the DRS train continue. Lap 15 we are on now, so just shy of the halfway mark. And Skipper now into the pit lane. As we see Jarno looking to make a move on Snell Henk. It's going to be late, and they decide against it. Annoyed Gamer a bit too far back to make a move as well themselves. And it's well defended at the moment by Snell Henk. They're getting some good traction out of some of these corners, and that's helping them massively, with Jarno and Annoyed Gamer hunting them down with DRS. It is often a nervy position to find yourself in. It doesn't look like Snell Henk is going to be coming into the pits when you have got nearly contact there made by Jarno. It is a very nervy position to be in when you have got two drivers bearing down you when you have got DRS. But Snell Henk dealt with that very well. But has now released Jarno and the Annoyed Gamer. And looks like Destroyer's right in the thick of it here, coming out of the pits. The race leader, the Destroyer, and now side by side with Annoyed Gamer. The Destroyer does obviously have the fresh tyres and does get the move done on the inside. So both drivers are going to have DRS. The Annoyed Gamer did get a better drive out of it, but the Destroyer has been able to hold the position. And now it looks like both drivers will be hunting down Jarno in the Aston Martin. Apex Motoring Club picking up another time penalty. We said that they were going to be preying on there being wet weather. I haven't had the wet weather in the race so far, although as you can see in the background the cloud is gathering. You can never be too certain with the Red Bull Ring here in Austria. As we have a little look down the action further down the field, Goon in good point scoring position there in 9th. We will also just check the tyres that everyone is on. Goon being the only, well, two drivers there on the hard tyres. Goon sitting comfortably in the points, but looking to do a long stint there on the hards. Will probably be looking not to do another pit stop. So as all the drivers ahead will most probably have to pit again. We're unsure whether the Destroyer decides to pit again. In fact, with just under half distance remaining and a fresh set of medium tyres, if they're able to do that same distance on the soft tyres, there's no reason why they won't be able to do that on the mediums. Have got some yellow flags in sector 3, and it looks as though it's Goey who has had an incident heading into the pits. Have been able to recover the vehicle and get into the pit lane, and they will also serve one of their 5-second time penalties, and that does push the Annoyed Gamer up into the top 4 as it stands at the moment. Obviously penalties and pit stops dependent. As we already said, Goon now up to 8th position on the hard tyres, will not be looking to pit again. And Jarno right on the back of the Destroyer. The Destroyer has managed to get past Jarno, but how long will they stay ahead? Jarno has got DRS, but is not close enough to make the move. So permitting they can stay close to the back of that Ferrari. Might have another go at it on lap 19. The Annoyed Gamer just dropping back a little bit from the Aston Martin as outside of DRS range. So as we're at the halfway stage, I'd love to see some comments in the chat. Who do we think is going to win the race? We have got an incident, in fact. We just missed that one there, and it looks like RPM Dragos on the gravel at the halfway stage. Who do we reckon is going to do well? Who do we reckon is going to win the race here in Austria? AJ Green cheering on Apex Motoring Club. They are currently in 12th position, so still scoring some points. So double now into 9th position on the circuit. Has not pitted yet, so 18 laps on those medium tyres, so we'll most probably be looking to pit sometime soon. They have also got 10 seconds worth of penalties. They will serve one of those 5-second penalties in the pits. It doesn't look like we've got any drivers within DRS of each other. In fact, we have got one. It's RPM Dragos, who came off the circuit last lap out, so we'll be taking it extra cautious through this second sector. And by doing so, has dropped out of DRS range of going. As we again just see the confirmation of the penalties on the left hand side of the screen. You see with a 5-second time penalty you can serve them in the pits, and there's a 3-second time penalty for RPM Dragos, who was riding on board there. Just went over the track limits, all 4 tyres off the limits of the circuit over the white line. It does pick up a 3-second time penalty after their 3rd warning for track limits. And now is RPM Dragos on 6 seconds worth of time penalties. Let's say Double will be serving one of those 5-second time penalties. They've got 10 seconds accumulated at the moment, as the race leader Haas does pick up a 3-second time penalty. Be interesting to see how crucial that is later on in the race. So they are on 11-lap old medium tyres, whilst the Destroyer looking to only do a one-stop strategy. So doesn't look like they're going to be pitting again, the Destroyer. And it's going to be hunting down Haas, who has now got that 3-second time penalty. Very much looks as though we have got a strategy race going on. The driver though looking to make a move on the circuit is going on fresh soft tyres up the inside of Double for turn 3. Very nice overtake there by the Haas driver, and that sees them into 9th position. Apex Motoring Club getting a 5-second time penalty for ignoring the blue flag conditions. A blue flag condition just means that there is a much faster driver approaching from behind, be that a driver overtaking you, or if you're coming out to the pit lane, a driver coming alongside you. Apex Motoring Club not coming out to the pits, so should have been moving out of the way to let the faster drivers behind through. Double does finally come into the pits to serve their first pit stop. And the Annoyed Gamer is also in the pits, serving a time penalty as well by the looks of things. And that is going to be music to the ears of Goon, hunting down some championship points and some championship ground. And seeing the Annoyed Gamer have an extended pit stop. Appears to be very happy with that, and it does look like we have got a McLaren off the track. It's G Infamous, and they have retired. And Double is in the pits as well. I'm unsure as to why the icon on the bottom right of the map was driving the wrong way into the pit lane, but that has all been sorted now. And there is a safety car on the circuit. It's the biggest fear. We did not want a safety car, not after earlier in the season, if I've nearly said last year. Earlier in the season, the first race, so the second race, round 2, this was originally when we did have a safety car on the circuit, and we also had green flag conditions. I can already see in the background there we have got the safety car conditions on the circuit, so hopefully everything is correct and the game doesn't play up with the racing today. But the safety car does mean a few drivers are going to make the most of an opportunity to pit. The Annoyed Gamer pitting last lap out. We'll still see them ahead of Goon. That's going to be very interesting. The championship leaders, Annoyed Gamer and Goon, both on fresh soft tyres and going to be racing each other, but the Annoyed Gamer has got a 3-second time penalty as well to factor into that. I was going to say this would play into the hands of the Destroyer, who was looking to make a one-stop strategy count. It's interesting to see if the Destroyer does pit. They don't think they need to pit, but they have decided to pit. They're already on pretty fresh medium tyres. They could have made these tyres last, but they've decided to go into the pits, and overall that will cost them track position to Haas and quite a few other drivers as well. Jarno being one driver who has kind of made a fantastic decision going in on the medium tyres very early on, and they're going to have the freshest set of tyres on a fresh set of medium tyres starting second. They're going to obviously have some fast drivers on the soft tyres bearing him down, permitting he can make the wheels face the correct way, and there is a bit of contact. I'm unsure whether there's going to be a penalty or not, if there is any damage either. Skipper has received a 5-second time penalty there. It did look like quite a harsh break by Skipper. Jarno was not expecting it at all. I was not expecting it either. But that's what happens sometimes when all the drivers are bunching together on what is usually a very fast-paced circuit. And when you're having to drive around turns 6, 7 and 8 at about 80 miles per hour, well, there is sometimes going to be contact when drivers are weaving, keeping temperature in the tyres, as well as just driving a lot slower than what you would be driving around the circuit if you were at green flag conditions. So we've got 12 laps remaining. Will be 11 as we go across the line now. Skipper, a driver who could make these medium tyres last to the end. We will just see. They have got 5 seconds worth of time penalties. Interesting to see they did not decide to serve the extra 5 seconds under the safety car conditions. The safety car will also suit the Apex Motoring Club. Has got 11 seconds worth of time penalties, but will be able to bridge the gap to the drivers ahead of them. And who knows, 12th position is enough to score some points. Top 15 permitting you complete 90% of a race will score points. Apex Motoring Club in 12th position will score a few points there. And it looks like we're just waiting for them to catch up to the safety car. So we just again see the confirmation of the tyres being used. Now we do encourage as well with the newly amended Instagram and TikTok. If any drivers do have photos from the race or qualifying, or any videos of a fantastic overtake on board, we would love to see it. Be sure to post it into the Discord channels, or even message me direct to the entity, and we had to see them on some of the socials. Also, we'd love to see some of the incidents there on TikToks, as we have a new TikTok channel at Racing League Hub. Right then, safety car is in the pits, so we are about to go racing again, and Skipper wasting no time at all in getting us going. Hasn't caught out many drivers, they're all quite close to each other. Some gaps appearing there between Goon and Goran Potner. But already right on the back we have got the Destroyer looking to go on the outside of Annoyed Gamer. Annoyed Gamer late on the brakes. Destroyer cutting across, they are side by side. They are still side by side. There is a bit of contact as they go down the back straight and into turn 4, still side by side. Destroyer later on the brakes and gets the positions. The Destroyer up to 3rd position. The Annoyed Gamer in 4th. No DRS just yet, but the drivers will be looking to stay very close to one another for when DRS does get enabled. We are going to see some very fast overtakes happening though, with these soft tyres overtaking some of the drivers on the medium tyres. One person we didn't notice was Jarno getting past Skipper. We have got a new race leader, and they will be looking to make those medium tyres last till the end of the race. Skipper, 11 lap old medium tyres, is struggling, and the Destroyer is looking to make another move into turn 3, up the inside, late on the brakes again on the soft tyres. The Destroyer makes another overtake at turn 3 and sees them up into third. Nordgamer looking to go up the inside. Skipper went a bit wide and they have done so as well. Again, still no DRS, but the opportunity to make some phenomenal overtakes. Phenomenal being the words for the Destroyer's restart after the safety car. They are flying around the circuit. I questioned whether it was a sensible decision to come into the pits for the soft tyres, but they have definitely made this strategy work as they now hunt down Jarno, who is on the medium tyres. As we see a potential move a bit later down, some drivers backing out of it, but Goon looking to make a move around Goran Potner. 3 drivers involved there. It looks like they might be going 3 across. They do not go 3 across. It all filters down single file for turn 3. I was expecting more of a spectacle, I must admit, but DRS is now enabled. And Goran Potner around the outer side of Snell Henk. So much action, is so hard to keep track. We'll try and capture everything that we possibly can. Gui pushing a bit too hard, gets another 3-second time penalty. But the race for the lead is still on. Inside of DRS range, all 3 of the drivers, 1 second separating the top 3. Annoyed Gamer setting the fastest lap of the race. Here we go. DRS wide open for Destroyer. Are they going to make it count at their favourite corner? Looks to go up the inside, turn 3. Annoyed Gamer does, Destroyer does go side by side. Jarno does go wide. Annoyed Gamer looking to capitalise. And Annoyed Gamer doesn't know they've got past Jarno on the inside. Will they also look to do a late move on the Destroyer? No, they will not. They back out of that one, but they are now up to second. Have got a time penalty. As we see Snell Henk on the back of RPM Dragos. We can also see Apex Motoring Club battling it out behind Double and Goey. Going up the inside of Double there. Will Apex Motoring Club follow suit? We have got yellow flags in Sector 1. Doesn't look like we've lost any drivers, but Apex Motoring Club on the charge. Apex Motoring Club past Double. Apex Motoring Club alongside Gui. And where Double went on the inside of Gui as well. It's Apex Motoring Club dropping down to 12th again. So we might be going 3 across. Doesn't look like there's a little bit of contact. But Apex Motoring Club getting a double overtake, but runs deep in turn 4. And Double and Goey gets past, both of them getting past Apex Motoring Club. So it has to make the overtake all over again. We will just flick to the leaders, the Destroyer. And Annoyed Gamer looking to keep up with the Destroyer, but it looks like the Destroyer is pulling away. DRS section of the circuit though, so the Annoyed Gamer will be closing in again. Jarno still right on the back of the Annoyed Gamer. The Annoyed Gamer has got a time penalty. We will just quickly see how much of a time penalty. It's 3 seconds, and Jarno will be very glad to see that the driver behind them, Huss, who is hunting them down as we speak, you can just see them in the frame there, has also got a time penalty, so might not put too much of... Oh no! Jarno spinning at turn 3, just as we were praising how they were sat in a good position. Oh, it's horrible where the drivers have all backed up. There's no sensible or safe position for them to turn around. And that's Jarno out of contention for a podium. Now into 12th position. They'll be very glad to see that the drivers ahead of them have all got time penalties. but they have got quite a gap to close down, and that does see the other AlphaTauri now into the top 3. So we've got 2 AlphaTauris, second and third, but they both have got time penalties, whereas Goon, second in the Drivers' Championship. They can see ahead of them the championship leader, who is on a 3-second time penalty, but is too far ahead of them up the road. And Haas has got another time penalty, which has opened up a podium here for Goon. I'm sure Goon or Annoyed Gamer, both of them did not see that at the start of the race, but does look like both drivers might be going home with podiums. And the Annoyed Gamer is going to be making a move up the inside of the Destroyer. No DRS for the Destroyer. DRS wide open for Annoyed Gamer, but not enough pace to make it up the inside of turn 4. RPM Dragos picking up another 3-second time penalty. That puts them to 9 seconds worth of penalties, which is going to drop them back quite a bit. This is not over. The drivers around them might pick up some extra penalties as well, which is just right on board if the race for 6th position. Snell Henk did get back ahead of RPM Dragos, but RPM Dragos is not going to let that go easily. RPM Dragos right on the back of the Williams. Snell Henk is not going to get any DRS. RPM Dragos a full wing full of DRS. Are they going to make the move on to turn 1? They are thinking about it. It's late. Side by side around turn 1. Snell Henk with a better drive, but that is DRS open again for RPM Dragos. Snell Henk has not got any DRS, and RPM Dragos does fly through. Skipper looking to make a move as well. And we have got the Annoyed Gamer. An incident involving the Annoyed Gamer. The Annoyed Gamer spinning at turn 3. And that's dropped them to 9th position on the circuit. Goon is provisionally going to be second on the circuit. With Huss now on 6 seconds worth of time penalties. They are hunting down the leader though. Unfortunately, we didn't see exactly what happened to the Annoyed Gamer. But they have got drivers around them, have got more penalties, so they should be making up a few positions. As we still see the race for 5th now. As Apex Motoring Club and Double just overtaking the Annoyed Gamer, who's coming into the pits, who does look like they've got some damage. So 2 laps remaining, lots of penalties, and Snell Henk looking to make a move on the inside of RPM Dragos. RPM Dragos has got the track position, but Snell Henk will have another go with DRS. But that's a slower line through turn 3 has meant that Skipper has been able to close the gap. And speaking of closing gaps, Huss has got past the Destroyer. The Destroyer probably didn't put up too much of a fight. They know that there is a 6-second time penalty that Huss has got to be added to their time come the end of the race. Whatever number we support, we are fans of the greatest sport. Formula 1 is magic. Magic it is. And looking to produce some magic is Goey on the inside of Skipper. Makes the move very cleanly there around turn 3. Skipper too far back to come back at them. RPM Dragos and Snell Henk still racing. It's only getting worse and worse for Annoyed Gamer, unfortunately. They're sitting in 12th position, and I've got another time penalty. Interesting to see Jono, who we did see have a bit of a moment after the safety car restart. No time penalties for Jono, so I'm sure they'll be happy about completing a clean race with only 1 and a bit laps remaining. And now all over the back of Double. Apex Motoring Club picking up 14 seconds worth of time penalties. That could be a Racing League Club Austria record. Jarno making a move of double. Does come off the circuit a little bit to do so. And speaking of off the circuit, Apex Motoring Club nearly was, but they did manage to keep the wheels pointing in the correct direction. So as we are on the final lap, Haas will probably take the checkered flag here, but they have got 6 seconds worth of time penalties. The Destroyer looks like they are going to be taking home a race win in the Ferrari, with Goon in second position. Both drivers completing clean races and not getting any penalties. So we still can see a race happening for 5th position between RPM, Dragos, Snellhenk, Goey and Skipper as well now. A little DRS train there. But round the final, bending across the line is Haas and the Destroyer. Obviously drivers swapping over due to time penalties. So the Destroyer takes home the race win with Goon in second, Haas in the third. Goran Pono, solid drive for them. Snellhenk does manage to get 5th position. Goey in 6th. RPM, Dragos 7th. But a big jump, in fact, for Jarno, going up to 7th position after not picking up any time penalties. So RPM Dragos in 8th, Jarno in 7th, Skipper in 9th position, Double in 10th, Apex Motoring Club finishing in 11th position, and the Annoyed Gamer, I'm sure they'll be happy to have finished the race, and I'm sure they'll be happy to see the back of Austria. We've done it twice. That might be twice too many for the Annoyed Gamer. As we see the podium. So the driver of the day was Goon. Very rightly so. A fantastic drive for Goon. Starting near the back of the pack. And finishing on the podium. 2nd place for the Red Bull driver. But a stellar drive for the race winner today. The Ferrari, the Destroyer. And my oh my, they destroyed the competition today. The race win for them. But that's everything for us here at Racing League Hub for the rescheduled round 2 in Austria. Here is confirmation on the screen of the race results. As we can see, Goon starting on the grid at 15th, finishing in 2nd. Rightly so, the driver of the day. An honourable mention to Snellhenk, started on the grid 13th, ended in 5th. Goey following them through. But the Destroyer the winner, Goon 2nd, Haas 3rd, Goran Potner 4th, Snellhenk 5th, Goey 6th, Jarno 7th, RPM Dragos 8th, Skipper 9th, Double 10th, Apex Motoring Club 11th, and Annoyed Gamer capping out the point scorers in 12th position. There you can see all the drivers that did not finish. We had the infamous SVW Future, Philip Hogston, NB Gold and Nath. I'm sure there'll be a few steward reports which we'll be able to see later in the week. But make sure you do check out any content, be it from the race or anything involving Racing League Hub. Be sure to check out the website racingleaguehub.com, TikTok Racing League Hub, or Instagram Racing League Hub. Until now, we'll see you next week. I am the Entity. As ever, I will see you all on Thursday nights for C4.